Welcome back to Worldsport. We're heading to Andalusia in southern Spain now to take a look at a unique football finishing school.
The Glenn Hoddle Academy bears the name and carries the vision of one of English football's most gifted players. Having played for the likes of Tottenham Hotspur, Monaco and Chelsea in the 1980s and 90s, Hoddle moved into international and club management, where he faced a dilemma that didn't sit well with his footballing philosophy.
I realised that I had to release 18, 19-year-olds from the game. And I always thought then it was possibly too early to do this in football. There was too much talent falling out of the game. I felt I wanted to do something about that and give them a second chance and develop them and see what could be done, and that's really why I started it.
The Hoddle Academy's vision is simple: to take players who have been released early by professional clubs and give them a chance to work closely with top-level coaches with a view to getting them back into the pro game.
We're not really an academy, we're a professional outfit that are coaching professional players that have been released. That's a development centre really to improve them, and I think that's the key to it.
The academy means to me it's like another chance to get into football, hopefully develop my skills, because obviously we've all been released from football clubs, so hopefully coming out here can develop on my weaknesses, which obviously I've got some, and hopefully get straight back into a club.
The way some of our boys are performing at the moment, there's probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 who could move on, and that is the idea. We want them to move on and get on with their careers.
Although primarily set up for English players, Hoddle decided to locate his academy in Spain, where the weather allows him and the coaching staff to spend more time out on the training ground.
We've got an opportunity here with the climate and with the fantastic playing surfaces, as you can see behind me, to really spend a lot of time with the lads. They work with a ball at least once a day, probably twice a day, and things like bad foot only days, and just to make them more complete, more rounded footballers. The
type of coaching and training that we're giving them, they can see they're learning so much, they're hearing things they've never been taught before.
The Hoddle Academy coaching staff consists of former English professionals who have played at the highest level, both domestically and internationally. They have a wealth of experience to pass on.
Glenn Hoddle's football mind's unbelievable. I think everything there is to know about football, he knows about it. And also working with Graham Ricks, Dave Besson, Nigel Spatman, and there's experience, there's medals, there's international caps, World Cup appearances, everything you need in a footballer.
I think each coach brings something different. They all have a wealth of experience, and it helps us know, and it's a pleasure to be working with them.
A unique opportunity arose this summer when local Spanish third division club Jerez Industrial found themselves on the brink of bankruptcy. Hoddle signed a 5-year deal that would see the academy supply the club with its entire playing and coaching staff.
We had a slight problem in getting our players looked at, because we'd have friendly matches for the academy and we'd play good teams, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Seville, but the fact that we've now got involved in Jerez Industrial, who play week in, week out in a league, it's a totally different environment for the boys to play in. They've got to learn how to be a professional footballer, to learn what's required to win 3 points.
All our players, 22 players, gives us the opportunity to have a competitive edge to our game and compete in a league, which I think has worked out quite well so far. For me, it's still about the development of the players, and I've got to make sure that the academy comes first.
The new Jerez team is mostly made up of English players, but even so, the local crowd has adopted the boys as their own. And while playing in the Spanish league certainly provides a novel experience, it's not without its own particular challenges.
It's very different from English football. In English football, it's a lot more physical, not as technical, and a lot more honest. Being fouled, as in England, you wouldn't go down, you'd stay on your feet, whereas in Spain, they would go over and try and win a free kick.
With the addition of a competitive game, it has changed things. We're not liked in the league, whereas the opposition will get 60 fouls, we might get 5 or 6. The game's a different style to England. It's very much on the floor, very use your feet, more technical. Physical side's nowhere near as important as it is in England.
Hoddle believed that it's only a matter of time before the academy achieves its long-term goal, that of giving young players a second chance and turning them into the professionals they all dreamt of becoming.
The hardest thing sometimes is getting on the ladder, on the first rung of the ladder, and then progressing from there. So we're working away behind the scenes now to try and get certainly 5 or 6 players out who we feel have developed quite well they've improved a lot on their game and they're ready to go. And if we get them clubs, then it's up to the players then to take that opportunity.